I'd like to make a commitment that you will have a form of response within 7 working days. It may not be a full response, but I would like to give you our assurances that we will not let this matter drop and you will receive a response.
But they didn't send us a response. So Karuna and I went to the meeting to give them absolute hell over this. But as luck would have it, we bumped into the Democratic Services officer who had been responsible for sending the reply, and apparently they had done it, but it hadn't come through to Karuna's email for some reason. Anyway, he was able to dash off and print us out a copy of what had been sent, which meant a frantic redoing of the beginning of Karuna's speech, because otherwise, if she'd gone in, we were really going in guns blazing with that speech. It would have been a little bit awkward, but anyway, thankfully we were spared that one. Here's how Karuna dealt with it all.
Good evening. I'm here to discuss your email response regarding the danger of EVs. Referring us to trading standards is an inadequate response considering the severity of the fire hazard. The national press reports that a record number of e-bike and e-scooter fires have been recorded this year. The charity Electrical Safety First estimates that a fully charged e-bike battery can explode with the same energy as 6 hand grenades. Council has a duty of care to the public and has previously been giving notice of negligence with respect to dangerously cluttering the streets with devices that are not only a trip hazard but also have well evidenced explosive fire risk. When will Council address their now grossly negligent position? Other local residents have also not been properly responded to. Climate Emergency Officer Ben Plummer is yet to answer a Freedom of Information request from the 26th of June to explain what the exact parameters of the climate emergency are. Reminder emails were sent on the 3rd and 25th of July. Another request on the 25th of July asking if Council receives any financial or other benefits from the e-bikes and scooters has been completely ignored. We're also awaiting the evidence the Council used for their decision to declare a man-made climate emergency when neither the IPCC nor UK Government has formally declared one. Regardless of personal beliefs, you must provide evidence-based, unbiased decision-making by looking at all the available evidence. Simon Davison, Sustainability and Climate Change Manager, has confirmed this has not been done. When will it be? This lack of response, combined with blinkered, non-evidence-based decision-making, does not instil any faith in our Council. It's entirely forgivable that Council may not have originally understood the horrific environmental harms caused by the production of EVs and the dangers they present. But now you do, we cannot forgive or accept this continued willful negligence. The Council has a duty to the public to be transparent and accountable, especially when public money is being spent. If you cannot show evidence for your decision-making and spending, as has been pointed out in numerous emails, this is a misappropriation of public funds. And just in case you are unaware, you are individually liable, and misconduct in public office can result in life imprisonment. The public are not going to stand for Council ignoring them. Council's obligation is solely to the public, and the public will take whatever action is necessary to ensure that Council decisions are serving all the public. We need to have a public meeting in the Town Hall to discuss these matters fully. Provide a date. Thank you.
I'll start at the end, if I may. In regards to the Town Hall public meeting, I'm going to ask Democratic Services to look into that and get back to me within 7 working days. Again, that's a clear timescale, not an attempt to fob you off, I assure you.
I know I did respond to the Freedom of Information Act. The resident who submitted the FOI then responded to my answer to the Freedom of Information Act, and therefore it wasn't submitted as a formal Freedom of Information request. Therefore, there was no reason why I needed to respond to that follow-up email.
Really, Mr. Plummer? There was no reason for you to need to respond to that? Were there not 2 reminder emails? Did that not give you some clue a response was required? This was the reaction on my face when he said it. To recap, when we asked the Council to define what exactly the climate emergency is that they have taken it upon themselves to declare, not a single person in the Council could give us that answer. We have waited months for them to come up with some form of definition of precisely what they mean by the term climate emergency. Because how on earth can they judge progress, or when the climate emergency has even ended, if they don't even know what it is to start with?
I believe I responded in detail in the email that I sent. I was then sent a response by the person who asked the original email and have yet not responded to that email. However, I could not see any further question in it, so I believe that response has already been made.
Really, Mr. Davison, you could not see where the questions were asked? Well, let me point them out, shall I? Questions are the sentences with the little question marks at the end of them, like this one. How does the Council consider it appropriate to spend millions of taxpayer money on implementing net zero policies when they have not reasonably established any grounds for its necessity? So there is that question. Oh look, there's another one with a little question mark at the end of it. Can you confirm how you understand that process to be in evidence when you yourself have stated that no dissenting information is being considered? In previous council meetings, officers have said that they consider all information. We are pointing out that they have not considered all the information and provided them with lots of links to dissenting views from very well established scientists. Oh, and here's another sentence with one of those very useful question marks at the end of it. As the Sustainability and Climate Change Manager, isn't it part of your duties to make sure the products and services the Council implement are both good for the environment and sustainable? Sent you enough evidence that this is not the case with electric bikes, etc., so why would that be taken up by trading standards and not the Council responsible for implementing them? Has anyone investigated if there is cobalt in the electric bikes and scooter batteries? And if yes, do you have documentation to show that slave labour hasn't been used? I then go on to inform them that it's actually not possible to have cobalt that hasn't been mined by slave labour. And then I ask, how many children dying down mine shafts are acceptable to Colchester City Council? We also offered to bring leading climate experts into Colchester Town Hall so that councillors and officers could speak to them directly and ask any questions they have. So I'm not entirely sure how Mr. Davison managed to miss that quantity of questions. And then this part at the end, I'll give him this doesn't have a question mark, but nonetheless should be answered. So the council are spending millions with no evidence that it will make any difference at all. This is misappropriation of taxpayer money. Unless you can evidence the justification for it with real science, not manipulated data or wildly inaccurate computer modelling, the council has no right to be spending this way and must cease. This matter must be addressed properly by the council without delay. So I will be sending them another email with extra large question marks added in, so that Mr. Davison doesn't miss them, and make it very clear that we do want answers. And if you'd like to read this, you click on the link in the Dropbox folder. Beneath this video, you'll see a folder marked emails, and this little saga is email number 2.
With regards to your comment about the council's obligation to the public, yes it is. No debate, no discussion on that point. We're here to serve the public. We represent the public and we operate as a local authority for the residents of Colchester and the areas. With regards to the comment you made about misconduct in office, I do take that very, very seriously, and I would urge either yourself or any other members of the public who think misconduct in office is occurring to address the monitoring officer, who is a gentleman by the name of Andrew Weavers. He is the monitoring officer and the head of governance, and it's his responsibility, one of his responsibilities, is to look into any complaints about councillor conduct. So he would be the appropriate person to address on that point.
Oh yes, we're already very familiar with Mr. Weavers, but I can't say we've been overly impressed with his handling of libellous comments and a clear breach of councillor code of conduct. But on this occasion it is the officers that are in the bad books, not the councillors. So will Mr. Weavers be of any use to us at all?
So it's not just us that are saying EVs are dangerous. You know, public transports are banning them because they are. And the response we got from your email saying, well, you know, so do combustion engines. You know, there's a difference here with the explosive nature of these fires. And I don't think the hazard of them are being taken seriously. So that's where I'm identifying gross negligence going on, because we have identified these. And in fact, recently there was a tragedy in Cambridge where a mum, 2 children and 2 dogs had died because of an e-bike battery. So just take a moment to think how you'll feel when someone is injured from an EV. How are you going to feel when one explodes, maiming or killing a child, or anyone for that matter? And it's not a matter of if, is it? It's a matter of when. Colossal money is being spent on very questionable net zeros initiatives, and if you are here to serve the public, then the public is requesting this debate at the town hall. We feel that consultation has been inadequate, and where council's guidance is on consultation process and all these things, we just don't feel we're being heard. We need a public debate. Thank you very much.